Ladies and gentlemen, heroes in the making, let me tell you something powerful. Inside every person here beats the heart of someone greater than their circumstances. The truth is, no one is born unstoppable. We become unstoppable through the daily choices we make, one decision, one habit, one courageous moment at a time. You don't need a cape, a super serum, or lightning to strike you to change your life. What you need are the right habits. The kind of habits that don't just build strength, they build character, resilience, and purpose. So today, I'm going to share with you 7 daily habits that will transform you from ordinary to extraordinary, from uncertain to unbreakable. Let's step into the origin story of your own greatness. Every morning, the world gives you a brand new page to write your story on. The question is, will you scribble something ordinary, or will you write the chapter where everything changes? The unstoppable know that the day doesn't begin when the sun rises. It begins whenever they rise. Before their feet even touch the ground, they've already declared their mission. They don't just stumble into the day, they step into battle with clarity burning in their chest. When you open your eyes, don't rush to your phone. Don't drown in distractions. Instead, take a moment and ask yourself one powerful question. What am I fighting for today? That single thought transforms everything. It sharpens your focus and awakens something fierce within you. You stop being a wanderer drifting through the hours. You become a warrior with direction. Purpose gives meaning to every action, every conversation, every choice. It turns the dull moments of life into opportunities to prove what you're made of. You see, people often confuse being busy with being purposeful. They fill their days with endless tasks, ticking boxes, chasing shadows. But the truth is, you could complete 100 tasks and still feel empty if none of them bring you closer to your why. Your purpose isn't found in the noise. It's discovered in stillness, in those quiet, early hours when the world hasn't started shouting yet. That's when you define your fight, when you decide who you want to be and what you'll no longer settle for. Think about those who've achieved greatness. Not because they had more talent or luck, but because they had clarity. Take the Olympic athlete who dives into freezing water before dawn. They don't wake up early because they love pain or discipline for its own sake. They do it because in their mind's eye, they can already see the finish line. Every stroke they take, every lap they swim isn't just training. It's a declaration. I'm not done yet. That's the power of waking up with purpose. It's not the alarm clock that gets you out of bed. It's the fire inside you that refuses to let you waste another second. When you live with purpose, the world begins to shift around you. Challenges don't disappear, but they stop feeling like roadblocks and start feeling like stepping stones. Problems turn into puzzles waiting for your genius. Even setbacks start to make sense because you see them as part of the process, not the end of it. Life stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something that happens for you. That's the mindset of someone who's unstoppable. Every morning is a chance to choose. You can wake up tired, frustrated, already defeated by the weight of yesterday. Or you can wake up with resolve, reminding yourself that no matter what the world throws at you, you're still standing. The secret is to begin your day by anchoring your mind to something bigger than yourself. Maybe it's your family, your dream, your mission to help others, or your hunger to grow. Whatever it is, own it. Let it shape the way you walk, talk, and show up in every room. Because when you know why you're doing something, your how becomes unstoppable. And it's not just about success or ambition, it's about inner peace. People who lack purpose are constantly restless. They chase things, lose interest, start again, and wonder why they never feel fulfilled. But people who start their morning with purpose, they glow differently. There's calm behind their confidence and strength behind their smiles. They may face storms, but they never lose their footing because they know exactly where they're headed. If you truly want to become unstoppable, don't wait for motivation to strike. Create it. Set your purpose before the world has a chance to distract you. Write it down. Say it out loud. Feel it in your bones. When you walk through your day guided by a mission, every obstacle becomes a test of your dedication. And every victory, no matter how small, becomes proof that you're still on the path. Start every morning with purpose, not with doubt, not with distraction, but with that deep, burning conviction that today matters, and so do you. Wake up knowing that your story isn't over. It's just beginning. And when you start your day like that, the world won't stand a chance against you. There's a secret that separates those who rise from those who remain stuck. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's the willingness to be uncomfortable. Comfort is a warm blanket that slowly suffocates greatness. It whispers, "Stay here. It's safe," while your dreams die quietly in the corner. Every unstoppable person knows that growth doesn't live in comfort. It thrives in the friction, the challenge, the ache that tells you you're becoming more than you were yesterday. Think about it. Every major breakthrough in history, every legend who carved their name into time had to walk through the fire of discomfort. It's the price of evolution. The first time you lift a heavy weight, your muscles tremble. The first time you speak your truth, your voice shakes. The first time you chase a dream that scares you, your heart pounds like it's trying to break free. But that trembling, that shaking, that pounding, it's not weakness. It's transformation in motion. It's proof that you're alive and daring to grow. The unstoppable don't wait for comfort to come. They chase the hard things on purpose. They know that the path of least resistance never leads anywhere worth going. So they push themselves to do something difficult every single day. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It could be getting up earlier than your body wants, taking a cold shower that shocks your system awake, or starting the project you've been putting off because failure feels too close. These small moments of discomfort are like sharpening a blade. They keep your spirit strong and your will unbreakable. Most people see discomfort as a signal to stop, but the unstoppable see it as a sign they're on the right track. The pain of effort, the sting of rejection, the burn of uncertainty, these aren't barriers, they're milestones. Each one says, you're stretching beyond what you were yesterday. It's how mountains are climbed, how empires are built, how greatness is born. When you learn to live in that space between fear and courage, that's when you find your true power. Think about Thomas Edison, working tirelessly through failure after failure, over 1,000 attempts, each one ending in darkness. Most would have quit. Most would have decided that maybe the dream wasn't meant to be. But Edison understood that failure wasn't the enemy. It was a teacher. Every mistake brought him closer to mastery. Every setback carried a lesson. That's the mindset of the unstoppable. They don't see discomfort as punishment. They see it as preparation. Every bruise builds resilience. Every fall builds wisdom. Every challenge builds character. The truth is, comfort and growth cannot coexist. You can't chase greatness and cling to ease at the same time. If you always play it safe, you'll never know how powerful you could have been. But the moment you decide to embrace discomfort, to welcome it like an old friend, you begin to strip fear of its power. Failure stops being a monster hiding in the dark and becomes a stepping stone under your feet. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what might I become if I keep going? You don't have to move mountains overnight. Start small. Face one thing each day that makes your pulse quicken. Speak up when silence feels easier. Take that step when your mind says wait. Try, even when the odds are against you. Each time you do, you're rewiring your brain to see discomfort not as danger, but as the birthplace of strength. You're building a mind that doesn't flinch when life gets hard, a mind that stands tall when others crumble. Remember, the ones who achieve extraordinary things aren't those who never felt fear or doubt. They're the ones who felt it and moved anyway. They made peace with discomfort, danced with it, and used it to propel themselves forward. Because once you realize that pain is temporary, but growth is permanent, there's no turning back. You start to crave challenge. You start to see obstacles as opportunities. You start to recognize that every difficult moment is sculpting you into something unshakable. So step into the discomfort. Chase it. Let it mold you. Let it test you. Because each time you do, you'll come out a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more unstoppable than before. The road to greatness isn't paved with ease. It's carved through struggle. But for those willing to walk it, the reward isn't just success. It's the power to know that no matter what comes next, you've already become the kind of person who can handle it all. There's a spark inside every human being, a flame that burns brighter the more you feed it. That spark is your mind, and it has the power to shape everything about who you become. But here's the truth that too many people ignore. Your mind can only grow if you give it the nourishment it deserves. Just like the body withers without food, the mind dulls without challenge. The unstoppable know this. They never let their mind sit idle, because an idle mind doesn't stay still. It decays. They keep it hungry, feeding it every day with thoughts that stretch, ideas that provoke, and stories that expand what's possible. You see, the difference between the person who stays stuck and the one who transforms isn't luck, it's the information they consume. The unstoppable understand that every book read, every conversation had, every mentor listened to is a spark that can ignite transformation. They treat learning like oxygen, something essential, not optional. They don't just chase success, they study it. They don't just dream about change, they learn how to create it. Each new insight becomes another piece of armor in the battle of life, protecting them against fear, ignorance, and doubt. The mind is a strange and powerful thing. It becomes what you feed it. If you fill it with gossip, fear, and noise, it begins to shrink, to lose its edge. But if you feed it with wisdom, stories of courage, lessons of failure and triumph, it grows into a weapon sharper than any blade. Knowledge gives you the power to see beyond what others see, to think beyond what others think, to do what others don't dare to try. Think about someone like Warren Buffett. The man is one of the wealthiest, most successful investors in history, and yet he spends most of his day reading. Not because he's forced to, but because he wants to. Because he knows that one good idea, one new insight, can change the course of a life or an empire. He reads around 500 pages a day. And it's not just financial reports or market analysis. It's ideas, lessons, and perspectives from across the world. Now, imagine what could happen if you read just one good book a month. 12 books a year could reshape your mindset, redefine your future, and renew your sense of purpose. And here's the beauty of it: learning doesn't belong only to classrooms or universities. The world itself is your greatest teacher. Every person you meet, every experience you endure, every failure you survive, each one carries a lesson waiting to be discovered. The unstoppable mind pays attention. It listens deeply, observes closely, and never assumes it knows it all. Because the moment you believe there's nothing left to learn is the moment you start to fade. Every day offers a choice. You can feed your mind with the same recycled thoughts, the same endless scrolling, the same tired negativity, or you can choose growth. You can tune into a podcast that inspires you. You can pick up a book that challenges your beliefs. You can have a conversation with someone wiser, not to prove yourself right, but to discover something new. Each choice builds momentum. And over time, those tiny choices accumulate into transformation. The unstoppable know that learning isn't a phase. It's a way of life. They don't see it as work. They see it as adventure. Because every new skill, every idea, every revelation adds to their story. It gives them more tools to face life with courage and creativity. And when the storms of life come, and they always do, it's their knowledge, their adaptability, their wisdom that carries them through. Knowledge is armor because it protects you from being blindsided by the world. Wisdom is your weapon because it allows you to carve your own path through it. When you commit to feeding your mind daily, you stop being a passive participant in your story and start becoming its author. You see opportunities where others see obstacles. You find lessons where others find loss. You begin to outgrow every limitation that once held you back. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. And that design starts in your mind. Make it your mission to keep learning, to stay curious, to feed your hunger for understanding, because the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. But when you make learning your habit, your fuel, your passion, your mind becomes your greatest superpower, a force that can't be silenced, slowed, or stopped. And that's when you truly become unstoppable. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of energy. It's the fuel that powers your thoughts, your actions, your dreams. But here's the catch. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't buy more. You can't borrow it, and you can't fake it. That's why the unstoppable treat their energy like treasure. They know that how they use it determines how far they'll go. You can have the greatest talent, the biggest dream, the boldest plan, but if you waste your energy on the wrong things, your potential drains away before you even begin. Most people don't realize how easily they give their energy away. They let negativity seep into their minds like a slow poison. They argue about things that don't matter, scroll endlessly through social media, and allow the opinions of others to drain their spirit. Every complaint, every doubt, every moment spent comparing your life to someone else's steals a little bit of your fire. It's like carrying a bucket full of holes. You keep pouring effort in, but you never seem to fill up. The unstoppable understand that if you want to rise higher, you have to patch those holes and protect the flame inside you. Energy is not just about physical stamina, it's emotional and mental too. You could sleep 8 hours and still wake up exhausted if your spirit is weighed down by negativity. That's why guarding your energy is an act of strength, not selfishness. You have to know when to step back from the noise, when to say no, and when to walk away from what drains you. Because the truth is, not everything or everyone deserves your access. The unstoppable don't surround themselves with people who pull them down. They build their circle with those who push them forward. They spend time with people who challenge them to grow, who remind them of their worth, who make them feel alive. Look at the world's top performers, the visionaries who've changed industries or redefined excellence. They all share one thing in common: focus. Whether it's Elon Musk building rockets or Serena Williams training for greatness, their energy is directed with precision. They don't waste their time arguing with critics or explaining their purpose to those who don't understand it. They don't chase distractions, they chase impact. That kind of clarity doesn't happen by accident. It's a decision renewed every single day to protect what matters most, their energy. But here's the thing, protecting your energy doesn't mean you have to shut out the world or harden your heart. It means being intentional about where you invest your attention. You can still be kind, compassionate, and open, but you have to be wise. There's a difference between helping someone and letting them drain you. There's a difference between staying informed and being consumed by negativity. The unstoppable learn to recognize that difference, and they act on it. They understand that peace is not found by chance. It's created by choice. The modern world is designed to steal your focus. Notifications, opinions, news cycles, they're all fighting for a piece of your attention. But your energy is sacred, and every time you let something steal your focus, you give away a part of your power. So make it a habit to disconnect, to breathe, to recharge. Go for a walk without your phone. Read something that nourishes your spirit. Spend time with people who remind you who you are and what you're capable of. Those moments of restoration aren't luxuries, they're necessities, because you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't build your dream if your soul is running on fumes. When you start protecting your energy, you'll notice something remarkable. Your thoughts become clearer, your actions become more deliberate, the noise fades, and you begin to hear your own voice again, the one that knows where you're meant to go. You'll find yourself saying no to things that once distracted you and yes to things that truly matter. That's when your momentum builds. That's when you become unstoppable. Not because you're doing more, but because you're focused on what matters most. So, guard your energy like the rare treasure it is. Treat it with respect, use it with purpose, and never waste it on anything that doesn't serve your growth. Because at the end of the day, your energy determines your destiny. And when you protect it, direct it, and use it to fuel your mission, there's nothing in this world that can stop you from becoming everything you were meant to be. At the end of every day, when the noise fades and the world slows down, you're left alone with the quiet hum of your thoughts. That moment, those few minutes before sleep, holds more power than most people ever realize. It's in that stillness that the unstoppable separate themselves from the rest. Because instead of letting the day slip away, they take the time to look it in the eye. They pause, they reflect, they ask themselves not out of guilt, but out of hunger. What did I conquer today? What can I do better tomorrow? That single act, done consistently, can change everything. Reflection is how ordinary days turn into extraordinary lessons. It's how chaos transforms into clarity, and mistakes become stepping stones instead of regrets. Most people rush through life without ever looking back. They move from one thing to the next, busy but blind, wondering why they keep repeating the same cycles. But those who take a moment to reflect, to truly think about their choices, their wins, their flaws, they begin to see patterns. They start to understand themselves. And understanding yourself is the foundation of growth. You see, reflection isn't about dwelling on what went wrong. It's about learning from it, about extracting the gold from the rubble. Every failure, every awkward moment, every tough conversation carries a lesson if you're brave enough to look for it. The unstoppable know this. They don't run from their flaws. They study them. They don't hide from their scars. They use them as maps to find a better path forward. Because when you take time each night to reflect, you give your life direction. You stop being driven by impulse and start being guided by intention. Think of great military leaders throughout history. After every mission, they don't just celebrate or mourn. They debrief. They ask what went right, what went wrong, and what can be done better next time. That's how they adapt, improve, and win. It's not luck that keeps them victorious. It's discipline. That same mindset applies to life itself. Every day is a mission, and reflection is your personal debrief. It's your way of preparing for the next battle, ensuring you don't repeat the same mistakes, and sharpening your mind for what's to come. There's something profoundly human about this process. It reminds you that you're a work in progress, and that's a beautiful thing. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. You're supposed to have learned. When you reflect each night, you stop judging yourself for not being perfect and start appreciating yourself for trying. You give yourself credit for the small victories, the things no one else saw but you. Maybe you pushed through a fear. Maybe you stayed calm when you wanted to shout. Maybe you just kept going when it would have been easier to quit. Those moments matter. And when you take the time to recognize them, you build the confidence to keep pushing forward. But reflection isn't just about looking back. It's about resetting. Each day comes with its share of weighty stress, noise, expectations, and emotions. If you carry all that into tomorrow, it piles up until it crushes you. The unstoppable know how to let it go. They take a breath, they release the failures, and they give themselves permission to start fresh. Because every new day deserves a new version of you, not one still trapped in yesterday's mistakes. Then comes the most powerful part, reigniting. After you reflect and reset, you reignite the fire. You remind yourself why you started in the first place. You think about your goals, your dreams, the people you're fighting for. That's what gives your heart its spark again, because life will try to dim your light with exhaustion, with doubt, with disappointment. But reflection is where you fan that flame back to life. It's where you say, yes, today was hard, but tomorrow I rise again. It doesn't take hours. 5 quiet minutes before you close your eyes can redefine your entire outlook. Grab a notebook or just sit with your thoughts. Ask, what did I learn today? What can I improve? What am I proud of? Don't aim for perfection. Aim for honesty, because every answer you uncover becomes a small piece of wisdom, and those pieces build a stronger, wiser you. Do it enough times, and your life becomes a continuous story of growth. Every night you reflect, you evolve. Every time you reset, you regain strength. Every time you reignite, you move one step closer to becoming unstoppable. The days stop blending together because each one now carries meaning. You're not just living, you're us becoming. And that's the secret. Reflection turns the passage of time into the process of transformation. It's how you become better, sharper, and stronger, not by chance, but by choice. So let's recap. Start your morning with purpose, embrace discomfort, feed your mind with growth, protect your energy, reflect, and reset. These aren't just habits, they're building blocks of the unstoppable version of you. The truth is, no one will hand you greatness. You have to earn it day after day. But if you commit to these daily practices, I promise you, no setback will break you, no challenge will stop you, and no dream will be too far out of reach. Because being unstoppable isn't about never falling, it's about rising faster than you fall. So stand tall, my friend. The world is waiting for the power only you can unleash. Now go out there and become unstoppable.